Welcome to the long drive, aka our substitute for going on a road trip. Since we want to go on a road trip but can't go on a road trip, we figured the next best thing was to live vicariously through our necklace alter egos.
You're just floating.
There's like no arm, like everything is so stiff from the waist up.
It may not be a real vacation, but it'll help tide us over until we can make it to one. I just hope by the time we get there, we don't end up looking like these two. This is an interesting one. It's not exactly a polished game, and honest to God, I'm not even sure what the main goal is. But if you're with a friend, you won't need one.
I don't really know what my goal is.
I think your goal is whatever you make
My goal lies beyond your understanding.
I don't know if this is the type of game that I'd enjoy playing by myself, but the good news is, whenever we're together, any game is fun. The real challenge is figuring out how to actually play together.
I feel like I'm in an extremely laggy roller coaster.
Opting into the beta and navigating the UI weren't too bad, but hosting another player was super finicky. We set aside an hour to test the game out, and it took us about half of that just to figure out how to get into the lobby together. I felt like an IT specialist was giving me support because the instructions were vague and we were seeing different things. I don't know if it was an us problem, but we're usually pretty competent when it comes to co-op.
Is this food or is this for dusting?
That's neither here nor there, because when we were finally in, we pretty quickly decided we needed to set aside another hour to see more of what this game had to offer. Right off the bat, we did everything but a long drive. There were so many goofy things to mess around with in the house that we spent the first day and a half just picking things up and laughing at how stretchy our limbs were.
Oh my god, look at me jumping.
For us, preparing for the road trip is just as much of an adventure as the actual journey itself. We may not know where we're going, but we know it's gonna be a long drive.
Okay, are we doing alright?
I think we're doing okay.
Okay, we're gonna hit the road then. Wait, I think this is where the road ends. Oh no.
There's not too much space in the trunk, so I have to leave my item hoarding tendencies behind. But it's easy to see where our different priorities are at. While he's busy checking if the car has oil and fuel in it, I'm packing the snacks and playing with the BB gun.
Well, the clicking, I see it moving something that looks like a trigger, but I don't know why it's not shooting.
Huh.
Can I only shoot at things that can get shot?
No, you can shoot at anything, Terry. You can shoot, don't shoot at me.
The physics of things in this game cause the characters to contort in some of the craziest shapes I've ever seen. And it honestly makes me laugh so hard.
Oh my god, your head just did a 360.
The way the arm stretched out to reach something or turn the car wheel looks so funny in first person, and I keep leaning over to look at his screen to see if it looks like that from his perspective. Sitting in a corner and watching him interact with a different object could be a game for me in its own right.
Here, like this.
Ah,
There you go.
perfect.
Okay.
I think that's how it was.
So, in terms of damage,
We have lots of
the car was
damage.
already a piece of shit. So, I think we're okay.
The main hurdle for me to overcome was the controls. I'll start by saying that to date, I don't think we've played a game that utilizes so many different keys on the keyboard. Constantly looking into the bottom right to see what the different buttons do may explain why the car kept swerving off the road. Apparently, I don't know my own strength because I'd rip the car door clean off its hinges every time I wanted to get in or out of the vehicle. I'm the usual suspect for getting my controls mixed up, but you know it's another level when he's the one stopping to pause and figure out how to do things all the time.
Okay, so pick up the BB gun
Oh, that's not E, F.
and then click
What
tab.
the hell? My arms.
Click tab. Okay,
Oh, jeez.
and then push 2. So you have 4 inventory slots. Okay, now do you see the ammo on the table?
Yeah.
That's cigarettes.
I prefer it when he's the one driving. When it's my turn to take the next stretch and he rides shotgun, I totally feel the pressure and flash back to being a 16-year-old taking my driver's test. He's never criticized my driving before in or out of games, but even still, I've always been a very self-conscious getaway driver.
So how do you think you're doing?
I think out of the many times we flipped a car, a pretty healthy majority were when I was in charge. There's just so many distractions that I take my eyes off the road for 2 seconds and lose control of the car. He's not much better, but at least this way I get to look out the window. I'll just blame it on the fact that he's the only one who can drive stick. At least I'm in good hands.
We'll go this way then.
I have complete faith in you.
Thank God someone does. Oh my god.
Ah!
I still have complete faith. His summer job was as a mechanic when he was in high school, so I've always been able to rely on him for car stuff. I never would have expected that to translate to a game on date night. But here we are, reliving the road trip from hell in our spare time. It's a little ominous being pulled over on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere and watching him put on a spare. I thought I liked road trips, but this is not a good look for them.
I don't want to alarm you.
Uh-oh, what's going on?
But the gas tank is low.
Oh no, is the light on again? You don't have to be a mechanic to know what the little orange light next to the fuel meter means. I don't know what it is, but this is a problem in and out of the game. Whether we're sitting at a red light on the way to the grocery store or stranded in the middle of the desert with giant rabbits, that light is always important. So can someone explain how it became my job to constantly bring it to his attention? What's that light on the
We have
dashboard?
gone 42. Oh my god, there's a rock in the middle of the road.
Why is there a rock in the middle of the road? We're going on
That
a road
is the
trip.
low on fuel light, I think.
Oh no, we don't have any gas! Shit!
We are out of gas.
Ah!
Okay. I just looked at you. You had the most, like, worried expression. You're like, are we gonna be okay?
If his mistake is forgetting to refill the tank, mine is filling it with the wrong stuff. I can't tell you how many times I put water into the fuel tank by accident. Most of these crises are 100% avoidable by simply not letting me near the jerry cans. But in my defense, it's kinda on him for keeping water and fuel in the same colored canister.
The Emperor needs his drink.
Right. Oh, right.
We found out that in a pinch, you can use alcohol as fuel for our car, but it's not something you want to overdo. There's like some kind of happy medium to mixing the perfect fuel to alcohol ratio that allows the car to still run okay.
I'm just gonna fill our tank with alcohol.
We found out the hard way what happens when you put the wrong fuel in the tank and what a headache it can be trying to get it all back out.
I could have sworn I saw this in a movie once. Like the car ran on scotch and everything.
It can get really confusing because for some reason we don't see the same things. So from my perspective, he's having several near misses with cacti, but to him it just looks like open road. Oh my god!
What?
Did you not see that?
I guess not. What did you see?
There were bunnies floating in the sky like giant rabbits, and you just hit one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry to the bunnies.
We get into especially weird territory when there's an enemy chasing one of us, because not only can the other person not do much to help, but a lot of times they can't even see them.
What's wrong?
Is this a person?
What's going on over there? Hey, there's another
Oh my
croissant.
god, there's a person, but I think he wants to eat me.
What? I'll investigate.
Do you see him?
No.
Do you see?
What are you talking about?
He's coming after me. Do you see where I am?
Oh,
Do
I
you
see
the
you. I
guy
don't see the guy
chasing
though.
me?
Where is he?
He's right where you are. You just blocked him. He's talking to me and he wants to eat me.
Are you insane?
So we end up leaving a point of interest with very different versions of events.
You like Rashomon?
That's not how I remember it.
Along the road, there are plenty of upgrades to find for the car. You can replace all the rusty pieces with brand new looking ones, and even switch cars if there's something better out there. For us, we're attached to our Beetle, and so we're stuck with it. Even when we were completely out of gas, we hopped on a bike and rode to the next destination and back because we couldn't fathom leaving it behind.
You do not need to make this so awkward. You just push E. There you go. Okay, we're on. This is horrifying because I can see your eye sockets.
Oh my god!
In a weird way, it might be romantic. Yeah, this is not weird at all.
Of course, in typical fashion, we went and got all sentimental about the bike for helping us save our bug. It's kind of a travesty how I fall in love with every vehicle that pays us the slightest bit of attention. Either way, the bike's coming with us, so let's find a way to make it happen.
My game is not doing so hot.
Holy shit. The car.
Spit it back out.
Luckily, we're pretty good at homemade solutions. This is so fun.
The open road. This is awesome.
This game might be a little rough around the edges, but we had fun with it for an afternoon. We had our fair share of disconnects and headaches, but for all its bugginess, we had some good laughs and a fun Saturday. I guess like a real road trip, it's all about the company.